So, there's a lot happening in the world.
Yeah.
As I was saying earlier. And we have to pray that the Lord guide our leaders, that it go well with us.
Yeah.
Right? There's decisions that are made that we have no control over that affect everyone at all levels. And it's hard to understand and be patient of some of these decisions that are made. Because a lot of the decisions that are made by our leaders, how they affect us, going to extreme to make a point, an example, I would believe that everyone in here knows that, abortion is murder.
Yeah.
There's no other way around it. No matter how many excuses you make for it, you're stopping a heartbeat from living. And people get finances from the government. We pay our taxes for that to happen. It's out of our control.
And you got to pay your taxes, they'll put you in jail.
So there are things that are out of our control, but we have to remember that there's a reason why these things happen. And ultimately, to get to the end game, where Jesus comes back, these things must happen. Okay?
There's a reason for the ones that's in there now.
Continue to use this pen.
So,
So, I want to cover a few things for us to be aware of, if you're not already aware of the signs. Okay? Jesus told the apostles, you can predict the weather, you can see the heat coming out of the south or the wind coming out of the east, and you can kind of say, hey, we're going to have these kind of temperatures and these kind of spells. There's going to be these certain things that are going to happen that you need to be aware of. He was a gentleman in warning us, right? That some things have to come to pass. And they are scary. They are scary if you're not prepared. When a thief comes at night, right? Oh, you wake up the next day. Has anybody in here ever been robbed? Like somebody stole your stuff, and you're like, oh, you get so angry, and it's missing, and that was mine. There was a lesson, and Dave's got one of the best testimonies of when his stuff was stolen. But I want to cover a few things that I'm going to tell you what I'm looking for. Is we're going to start in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And I got to get there as well. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. We might as well start at 1. It's 3 to 4, but. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gatherings together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind. Don't let this disturb your mind. Or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letters as from us, that the day of Christ is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come. What day? What day? The last day. That day shall not come, except there come a falling away first. What is a falling away? What do we think that means?
Less followers.
Less followers. So, I don't remember this time, and this is a shame of my generation, but I'm sure some of the older generations could remember a packed house. Full standing room only.
oh, yeah.
And then sometimes on Sunday night too. Sunday nights were just as busy as Sunday mornings. Right? The falling away, I believe, has started, but but there's still a large number of, though we be few today, there's still a large number of believers out there. I firmly believe that. But you only need 2 or 3. Where 2 or 3 gathered in my name, there God is in the midst. Take care of it all. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So the second thing is going to happen. So first you're going to see the first falling away. The second thing that's going to happen is there's going to be a revealing of the Antichrist. That son of perdition. That's the second thing. Who, verse 4, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So the third thing that I'm kind of looking for is this temple. Okay? Just to give a little background, there's been 2 temples. The first one was destroyed by Rome. Or no, not Rome. I'm sorry, Babylon. And the second one was Rome. 2 temples, both have been destroyed. And for verse 4 to be fulfilled, for this person to sit in the temple of God, there has to be a third one. There has to be a third temple. And when that third temple is built, my clock is going to start ticking. That's when I'm going to start paying attention. The drawings are done. The foundation is done. They have the shewbread. They have everything except 2 things. They don't have the property. They don't have the access to the property of where they want to build it. It's going to be in Jerusalem. And they don't have the heifer. The red heifer. The blood of the red heifer is going to purify the temple. And what a certain sect of these Jews want to do is they want to get back to sacrificing. Blood sacrifice.
Goats, animals.
This is the first 3 things that I know we're here in the falling away. He hasn't been revealed. And what I mean by revealed, everyone's going to be in a complete agreement that this is the dude. It's going to be upon a shadow of a doubt. There ain't going to be a question, oh, is it Obama? Oh, is it Bush? Oh, is it Trump? Oh, it's not. It's going to be clear as day. To who? Followers of Christ. No question. You're going to see it. You're going to understand it. Okay? So these are the things that are in my mind of what I am looking for. And we're also going to go to Amos 9:11.
You reckon what period that will be?
No one knows the day nor hour.
The new temple will be there.
The day? Well, there's the 2 things that are in their way is the property. Right now, there's disagreement on who controls this piece of property, where they want it. And it's called Temple Mount. And I believe that there's going to be either a great war or this, what we're going to get into later, there's going to be a peace treaty.
Are they a owner of that property?
Right now, it's under the authority of the Palestinian Authority. The Muslims. Basically, the Muslims have this corner of this property. It's very complicated. It'd be like, I don't know, a group of people in America saying, Rhode Island, we want Rhode Island for ourselves. And America saying, no, you can't have it. So Once the property gets situated, because the drawings are done, they know exactly, they have the footprint, they have the example. They find the red heifer, they go back to sacrificing, things are going to get interesting.
And whoever owns the property, and who wants.
Well, owning the property is kind of like saying, who owns America? Who owns America? I'm asking you.
Who owns America?
Who owns America?
God owns it.
It's complicated. It's a very complicated situation. There isn't just one person that owns America.
It might take them 20 years to decide who's going to build it or not.
That's up for debate. That's why no one knows the day or the hour, because there's some things that have to be seriously sorted out. And I think there's going to be some shedding of blood to get there. Why is this not popping out to me here? Maybe I wasn't meant to read it.
If there's no set time for something like that, it's until how many years it might be. I'll probably be dead and gone.
One thing is to be sure is to not get all ruffled about it. We should be joyful when we start to see these things. Right? It's when these things take place, we should be like encouraged. Hey, these things are happening.
The Bible says it will and it will.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Two things about the falling away. I was having an argument, and this guy's been very foul, keeping in the prayers. He runs Sterling Distributing down there, and he's a devout Catholic, and he's been trying to convince me that I need to become a Catholic. I said I already am. I'm a first-century Catholic according to the teachings of the guy you called the first Pope, Peter.
Yeah.
Why had your church departed from it? And then here comes the excuses. One of the things he threw up, there's 40,000 different denominations. Somewhere between 37,000 and 40,000 denominations. That's a more pernicious, subtle falling away. No, we still believe in Jesus, but we're just not going to do it the way these crazy apostolic people say.
Yeah. We want a pope. Yeah, they want their.
Well, not only that, but then you got the people across the street, 2 Baptist churches down here, 1 up here at Church of Christ.
How many churches did we drive by today?
Mormons out there on 125, the Jehovah's Witnesses over here by Russellville, and they're all saying, we've got the truth, but they've fallen away. Now, the other thing, so I looked at ahead of you, do you have Luke 21:24?
Yes. Yep, we're going to go over that. Luke 21.
Okay.
Amos 9:11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. This is the prophecy of the third temple being built. I wanted you guys to have that, write it down. Amos 9:11 talks about the need for the third temple. Okay? So there's some other clues, some other things that are going to happen. Daniel chapter 12. Daniel is a huge prophetic book that needs serious studying, because Daniel revealed a lot. Daniel chapter 12, verse 4 to 6. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro. What's happening today? What is happening today? To and fro. And knowledge shall be increased. Knowledge increased. That's another key item of what's happening today. We had Bezos get his first rocket up into space, right? Faster and quicker than his predecessors. He did it faster than NASA could get it figured out. right? On his own money. And now he wants people to travel with him, right? He's going to make it open to where if you want to spend $230,000, you can go up, see the crust of the earth, and then come back down. Did anybody think you'd ever see that time? Did anybody ever kind of like, why would this guy want to do this?
That's what happened.
It's to happen, but the how and the why and the math, like this guy started in a garage selling books. You would get a book and then he would send it back and then you would get a book. And that's how this guy started. Now he's in space. Where does he want to go next? Right? Mars? Yeah.
So the price has come down with competition. A couple of years ago, it was the Sir Richard Dawson with Virgin Mobile, which many people don't know. They have 6 spaceports, but he was charging between $20 to $30 million per week on the space station.
What good could that money do down here on Earth? How many children could be fed? How many more valuable things could be accomplished here on this earth? As opposed to spending millions, billions of dollars to get a rocket to space, and people pay all this money to get up there, how many children can be fed? How many widows can be taken care of? How many things in the foundation of that what God asked the church to do and to take care of could happen? What better place we would live in? The fatherless, the homeless. There are greater tragedies here on this earth than trying to get a rocket up into space.
Oh, yeah.
In my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Then I, Daniel, looked in verse 5, and behold, there stood other two, the one on this side of the bank, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And the one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, how long shall it be till the end of these wonders? Like, mankind has always been curious about when the end is. Tell us when the end is. And what does Hollywood do? They make movies about the end that man saves. We save the end of the world from happening, right? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever, that it shall be a time's time and a half. And when he shall have accomplished the scatter of the powers of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. These things have to happen.
Yeah.
And I heard, but understood not. Then said I, O my God, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the end of time. So there's some things, we have some things that we can pinpoint, but the how and the why, we're not really sure. Some things are just sealed up, and we're not meant to understand until it's time. That's just accept it. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. Yeah. Lady Wisdom. We need to have and stay focused on wisdom. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,335 days. But go thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest. This is very important to Daniel. This is God talking to Daniel. Daniel, you're going to die. Thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the days. This is, I'm not fully convinced. I could be wrong. I don't want to get into debate. But this is where Daniel is being signified as one of the potential two witnesses. As near the end, the two witnesses that come up during the tribulation, this is where Daniel is one of those candidates that could be those two final witnesses that are killed in the streets. So, knowledge shall be increased. We know that things are getting faster, time is processing, computers are getting faster and faster every day. There's computer chip, How many trucks are sitting over there, trucks and vehicles sitting over there at the raceway? There's a race track over there. It's full of trucks. They can't get the microchips to get them running.
They get another country, don't
Can't get them made. Taiwan. Billions of dollars worth of vehicles sitting in a big bowl. They can't get them running because of a microchip.
they? I'm wondering if there's any way they can change that.
No. Technology has moved so far ahead, and those vehicles work off and function in the way that they're already, it's already in motion.
Sure.
It's already in motion.
Is that the only outfit to make them chips?
That's what they say.
I mean, it's China.
Nobody else has that technology.
Don't you know we save money dealing with mainland China instead of Taiwan or Japan? That's the real money saver.
Right.
Letting Silicon Valley over here develop that. Oh, what a good move.
Isaiah, you don't have to turn here, but if you want to write it down, this is another sign that to pinpoint, to target out there for you. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness,
Yes.
that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Evil is good is what is happening. Now, who recognizes the difference between evil and good? Who's supposed to recognize that? We are. We're supposed to be able to be able to do this. You have to do what? You got to know God's truth, but you got to be able to make a judgment. And what does the world want to do? Judge not that you be not judged. Don't judge me for, okay, I'm not going to judge you, but you still have to call a spade, an apple tree, and not discern or compromise what's good and evil. And try not to get wrapped up into those conversations where they make it a gray line. They'll make a subject a gray line. Because what's the biggest argument about abortion? What's their biggest, they'll go, well, what about rape or incest? Should we consider that when that happens that it's okay to abort? That's less than 2% of what happens in the world, and that's their whole, that is one of the biggest arguments for the foundation of their support for it. Hold on, real quick. I gotta get this out. Where are these abortion clinics located? Where are they located? Everywhere, but where are they the strongest?
The so-called blue-run cities.
In the most povertous, less fortunate, I'm not going to use the word, I don't like the word privilege, but in the less fortunate, where there's not a foundation of knowing good and evil, that's where they're the strongest. That's the highest rate of where abortions take place.
Yeah, there's not one in Indian Hill, but there's probably one in Price Hills.
Yeah. And it's prominent. That's where, I'm not being, how was the word of segregate? I'm not trying to segregate because that's not the right mindset, but it has to do with the foundation at the home. It's got to start in the home with the parents and the children. You can't blame the teachers and the schools and the right. It's got to start at the home. And when you don't have that foundation of knowing right from wrong, you're going to get confused. And what was once called good, doing things good, is considered evil. We're in that time. This links into part of the falling away. People are just confused, tossed to and fro.
Is it one of them places in Price Hill?
Yeah.
Price Hill's in the news all the time. East Price Hill, Lower Price Hill, killing. Killing. And I watched the news, and it looked like about 70% of them was black, maybe 80.
Sorry, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
The one word that blows them all out of the water. All their arguments for abortion is the word adoption. There are childless couples waiting in line, long
Yep.
line, for any baby they can adopt. So assist the mother to bring the baby to life and then let it be adopted. But there's no excuse at all.
Adoption is,
Kill it. Especially the latest thing with the Obama campaign, that Senator Obama and started making that into law. The fourth term, since the little ones aren't here, I'm saying, if the baby survives the worst attempts of the abortion doctor and is living, then they set it aside, let it
they'll let it suffer.
start with that.
It's a sad turn of where we are. And it breaks my heart, I don't know about yours, but
Well, it
Just-
infuriates God, because when Israel started to throw babies into the fires of the, I'm
yeah,
not gonna say the being, they used to have a big idol with a hollow.
Big deity.
The sacrifice of the innocents.
we talked about that Tuesday, about the mindset of society, right? The society was convinced at that time that, hey, for you want to be blessed, you have to sacrifice one of your children to this God, and then you're going to get all these blessings. This wasn't just a small little hut, a tribe of people. This was a whole nation, a whole society agreed that this was the way to do it. They considered it right to just take your child and throw it into the fire of this false god.
Saving himself.
We're going to go to Daniel. I meant to stay in Daniel from 12. Chapter 9 and 12 of Daniel have a huge impact on what happens near the end. So Daniel chapter 9, starting at verse 21 to 27. Yea, while I was speaking in prayer, even a man, Gabriel, so Gabriel the angel, appeared to Daniel. Wow. Anybody ever had an angel appear to you? Wow. I don't know what I would do. That's whom I seen in the vision at the beginning, being caused to fly swiftly, touched me about the time of the evening oblation, his prayer. And he informed me and talked with me and said, O Daniel, I am now come forth to give thee skill and understanding. See, Daniel didn't have all the answers. It took an angel to teach him. Right? At the beginning of thy supplications, the commandment came forth that I am come to show thee, for thou art greatly beloved. Therefore, understand the matter and consider the vision. 70 weeks are determined upon the people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the visions and prophecy and to anoint the most holy. Know therefore and understand that from going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem, third temple, unto the Messiah, the prince shall have 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The streets shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times, even in the middle of a war, Jerusalem's going to be rebuilt. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not from himself. That is a Bible study in itself. I don't want to get really deep into that, but there's going to be a time that, like, Jesus isn't going to be preached or taught, or like almost in China, but all over the place. Okay? But not from himself, and the people of the prince that come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war of desolation are determined. And he shall confirm, that's where I'm going, he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. This is the peace treaty. This is another sign. In the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, which what Daniel was talking about in 12. He shall make it desolate even until the consummation and the determined, and that determined shall be poured out upon the desolate, utterly destroyed. So there's going to be a war, and in the middle of that war, Jerusalem's going to be starting to be rebuilt, and then there's going to be a tree that's going to last for 1 week. Now, what could be argued and debated still to this day? Is it really 7 days? Is that week a year? What is that? Is 1 week 1,000 years and 1,000 years a day? All that math and all that, does that really matter? Yes, we were given that information, but what's more important is that when you see a peace treaty taking place, mark that off the list as one of the things that's happening. Now, that kind of happened a little bit under Trump, right? When they moved the embassy back to Jerusalem, and his son, Jared, had an impact on, the whole time Trump was president, there really wasn't any war. Right? I mean, there were things that happened. People got shot and things were, but there really wasn't a war. Right? And we really weren't under any kind of war.
President Trump, his people, managed to get a peace treaty with almost every so-called Palestinian organization except for the H group, PAM, whatever.
Yep.
And that was completely, the so-called news media completely covered that up.
People signed this treaty that hate Israel. They hate Israel. And they hate Israel just because, honestly, I don't care. They hate Israel because they're Israel. They're jealous of them being a selected people. That's why they hate them. And what's happening here in the culture of the United States? Oh, you can't hate that person. Oh, you can't. Just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean that you hate them. And they're trying to spin it that way. Well, because you disagree with me, you must hate me. And now what I consider what you say to me is hate speech. And they're trying to get that passed too. Where you say something, you offend someone. It's happening in England. If you say or write something on Facebook or whatever, the cops are coming and knocking on your door. They're charging you with hate speech. It's coming. It's going to be here. Where you can't say the truth. You can't say what is good. You can't call it out. According to the government. Not going to go here, but Matthew 24. Obviously, the big end times. Wars and rumors of wars.
I got a song about Matthew 24.
We are going to go to Luke 21. We're going to end here. Luke 21, 11 to 22. These things, if you weren't aware,
Put that over to verse 24.
if you weren't aware of some of these situations, now it was just on the heart to kind of make sure that we're aware, because there's a great fear out there with COVID and the shot. Should you not get the shot? Are you going to spread it? Who's going to get it? Right? All of that is, what is that? Fear. It's fear. And when you can scare the population into submission, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Because could cause you to dig a hole, build a cave, and then dwell in it and not want to come out.
Yes, that whether we going to pick certain ones, they go going to get $1 million to get the shots. If they would just drop that down to $100,000, $100,000, there's going to be a lot more people get the shots.
And
a lot more people would win.
I say this to everyone with love and care. It's your choice, it's your decision, it's your body. If a woman can say it's my body, I can do what I need with it, then you have the right to say, this is my body, I have the right to do with it. And there shouldn't be any conversations based around proving whether you should or should not get the shot. It's up to you. And nobody should be judged on whether you do or do not get any kind of vaccination. Just had to say that. And great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines, and pestilence, and fearful sights of great signs shall there be from heaven. Great signs from heaven. I mean, they're starting to catch things on camera.
Yeah, how many we getting in the sky now?
Yeah, there are things happening that we haven't seen before. And people are flipping out. Like, is that a UFO? And lights just taking off and coming back. And big, massive, I don't know if you've seen them. Are you guys aware of what I'm saying? Like, there are things that are happening in the heavens. Like, they caught it on one of the pilots caught it on one of their cameras, and they were like, "Is that you? No. Is that you? No. Is that Russia? No." And now the video came out, and there's all these speculations. It wasn't anyone. They don't know what it was, but it was like, boom, 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 boom. We can't travel that fast. But before all these earthquakes and famines and fearful sights, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And it shall turn to you for a testimony. Before all these things happen, the Christians are going to be gathered up, the ones that they can gather. They're going to lay hands on you and try to charge you with being a prophet. And at that moment, it's going to be your time to testify. It shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle in therefore in your hearts not to meditate before what ye shall say. So when the governments and rulership, when they lay hand on the Christians, don't think about what you're going to say in your testimony. The Lord's going to give it to you. Don't plan out, like, pray to the Lord to give you the words to say. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. You know, when they were testing Jesus, when the Pharisees and, they were asking him questions, you say you're the king. And then what did he give it back to him? You say as it is. He confounded them with their own questions they couldn't respond to. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. And ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinsfolk and friends, and some of you shall be caused to be put to death. I mean, we already have families that will turn us in. That's nothing new there. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But there shall not a hair on your head perish. In your patience possesses your soul. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, right here, when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. The desolation of Jerusalem. Then let them which in Judea flee into the mountains, and let them which be in the midst depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, and all the things which are written be fulfilled. But woe unto them that give with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. All of that has to take place and must happen before Jesus returns. And some of these things are like training day, preparing the people for these situations. Jerusalem, we're going to end here. Jerusalem was actually encompassed already. Does anybody know when that was?
48, 54, the Yom Kippur War,
76?
67.
67?
And I wanted to say, if you think about what's inside what Jesus knew in Jerusalem, the foreign embassies, the Dome of the Rock, the King David Hotel, three that I can think of, that land is still, as non-Jewish feet on it. When all the Jews, non-Jews are put out of that city, that's the fulfilling of the time of the Gentiles.
Yeah,
And it's very close.
very, very close. So, try not to get all bent out of shape and worried about the things that, stock market crashing, whatever, COVID, right? One of the things I heard the other day, like people that did get the shot, not judging, people that did get the shot, you can't donate blood. You can't donate blood. You can't donate blood for somebody else to have a blood transfusion because they don't know what'll happen.
Why? Like secrecy answered everything. You want to
Right?
spread it, wouldn't you? You want to spread it, wouldn't you?
So, we need to turn that air back on. It's hot. Can we turn that air on?
Yeah.
It's hot here. Am I the only one? I hope you got something out of that. Write these down. Try and study on these things. Ask for understanding.